heart, it's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop. I feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. Let's do it all again right now. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop.
Hi, boys and girls. It's Pastor Ben, and I'm back for another edition of Summer Sunday School. And today we are going to be talking about the story of Naaman. So, all summer long, we have been looking at stories in the Bible where God used water to do something very special. And today is no different. So, if you have your Bible, you can go with me to 2 Kings chapter 5, and we are going to hear about the story of an army commander named Naaman. So Naaman was an army commander from a group of people who were outside of God's covenant family. He was outside of the Israelites. And he was this really well-known commander. He was very brave, and he was a good leader. He was a good communicator, and he was very valuable. And he had a skin disease that was very painful for him. And it was so painful that the king of the place where he was from wanted him to be healed from his skin disease. And so they tried everything they could think of to try and heal him, but they couldn't heal his skin disease. And so finally there was a woman from God's people. She was an Israelite. And she said, you know, I know that my God in Israel, my God, Yahweh, is so powerful. And she said, you know, if anybody could help cure your skin disease, it would be my God. You got to go and see the King of Israel and ask him for help. Because if anybody could heal you, it would be my God. And so Naaman, he takes his whole army, he goes to Israel, and he goes before the king of Israel, and he writes the king a letter, and he says, in this letter, he says, I need your help, I need to be healed, and the king of Israel has this letter, and he's reading through it, and he's reading it out loud, and he's just like, gosh, this is awful, I don't know what I'm gonna do, this person wants me to heal him, and I don't think I can heal him, and then it's going to maybe start like a conflict because he's an army commander, he's from a different place, and he's very brave, and he's well known, and if I can't heal him, is this going to be like a problem between our two countries? And as he's wrestling with what he's going to do about this problem, one of the prophets, God's prophet, overhears him. It's this man named Elisha. Elisha overhears the king kind of wondering what to do and questioning. And Elisha comes over and he says, you know what, king, I understand this is a problem. So why don't you send Naaman to me? Send Naaman to me, and I'll take care of it. And I'll pray to God, and we'll figure something out. Okay? And so the king agrees. He's like, okay, great. You take the problem. And so instead of Naaman going to see the king of Israel, he goes to see Elisha, the prophet. And so up comes Naaman and all of his friends. They go to see Elisha, and they come to Elisha's house, and they knock on the door, and Elisha comes out, and he says, Naaman, I know this whole story. I overheard the king reading your letter, and I know how painful this skin disease is. And he's like, I think that we can help. God told me that all you have to do is go to the Jordan River, and you have to wash your whole body, like take a bath. You have to take a bath, and he says 7 times. He says, if you go to the Jordan River and you wash 7 times, when you come out the 7th time, your skin will be completely healed. It's pretty incredible. Like, it's so simple. It's such a simple thing to do. And actually, the strange part is that Naaman left Elisha's house, and he was sad. He was kind of like shocked, and he and his friends were walking away, and his friends, they go, Naaman, what's wrong? Like, why are you so upset? He told you the solution to this incredible problem. And Naaman says, this solution that he gave me to go and wash in the waters of the Jordan River, that's nothing. Like, what's that gonna do? What's that solution gonna do? I'm not gonna do that. And luckily for Naaman, his friends were really wise, because they convinced him. They said, listen, if it were something really complicated, if Elisha had told you that the God of Israel had made this huge request, and you had to climb a mountain, and you had to give all this money, or you had to do this astronomical thing, then you would have done it, wouldn't you? And Naaman's like, yeah, I would do anything. I would do anything to get rid of this skin disease. It's so painful. And his friend says, so why don't you just do this simple solution, this simple thing that God has asked you to do, and see if it works? And so Naaman, he understands the logic, and he goes, you know what, that's a good point. I'm going to go do the simple thing that God told me to do and see if it heals me. And so he went to the Jordan River, and he washed 7 times. 7 times he went into the water, and he washed his whole body, and then he came back out, and he went back in 7 times. And on the 7th time, he came out of the water, and guess what? I bet you can guess. His skin was completely healed. It was completely healed. And he was so happy. He was so happy. He was running around. He was jumping up and down. He was high-fiving people. It's in the Bible. You should read it in 2 Kings. And he was so happy. He wanted to know how he could repay God for what God had done for him. And so he goes back to Elisha, the prophet. And he says, Elisha, you were right. This is amazing. This is incredible. My skin, it's clean. I've never felt this good in my whole life. I did what God told me to do, and now I want to repay God for the gift that he gave me. And Elisha is kind of confused. He's like, well, you can't really repay God for the gift. You can't really give God your money, or that's not really what God wants. He says, you know what? Elisha says, you know what you can do? You know what you can do? You can go in peace. That's what he says. He says, you can leave. You can leave and go back to your country with your new skin, your gift from God. You can go in peace. And so Naaman and all of his friends, they go back to their country, and they have a peace, a new kind of relationship with God. And that's the end of the story for us today. It's kind of interesting to think about in our own life. what does it mean for us and the gifts that we receive from God? I'm out here in my garage. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I've got bikes behind me, and I don't know if this is maybe like your garage, but there is stuff everywhere. There's fishing poles and swim noodles and bicycles, and we even have a bunny, Clover, out here in the garage. All of these incredible gifts that I and my wife Debbie have given to our kids, all these things that we got for them because we wanted them to be happy and to play with them and use them. And could you imagine if you went to your parents, right, after they had given you like all your birthday gifts or something, like, and you said, you know what, guys, this is really great. These gifts are really great. I love my new bike. I love my bunny. I love my dog. I love my new fishing pole. Here's the thing. I'm going to try and repay you for all of the gifts that you gave me. And I'm not going to use them at all until I can repay you every cent that you spent to give me that gift. Do you think, like wouldn't that would be crazy? Wouldn't your parents kind of say, what, why wouldn't they be so confused? Like, how could you ever repay them for the gifts? Like, how can my kids ever repay my wife and I for the things that we do for them? They couldn't. They could never repay us. You could never repay your parents. You could try, but you could never fully repay them. What do your parents want when they give you a gift like that? Like, they want you to use it. They want you to be happy. They want you to ride your bike. They want you to kick the soccer ball. They want you to play with your bunny. They want you to have fun and use the gift and the gifts that they give you, right? And the same is true for God, just like with Naaman. The things that God gives us every day, right? He wants us to use those good things that he gives us and to be at peace, to be happy. And Naaman, we may not have like a disease on our skin, but we have sin and we have anger and we have frustration and we have these things in our heart that make us unclean or make us dirty because of the things that we do, the things that we say. And just like Naaman, God has kind of a simple solution for us too. We don't go wash in the Jordan, but God sent his son Jesus to die on the cross and to take all of our sins away and to give us new life with him that lasts forever. It's an incredible gift, and we can't ever repay God for that gift. Just like Naaman couldn't repay Elisha, just like we can't repay our parents, we could never repay God for all that he does to forgive our sins and to give us life with him forever. But that's not what God wants. He doesn't want us to repay him, does he? He wants us to go and to live at peace, to enjoy the forgiveness and the new life that he gives us every day. And so, boys and girls, I hope that this week you enjoy your toys, that you play with all of the gifts that your parents and your grandparents and your friends and your aunts and your uncles have given you, and maybe think about giving someone in your family, like a brother or sister. Maybe you could give them a gift too, to spread around that joy. And while you do that, remember that God's gift of his son Jesus, the greatest gift any of us have ever received, is totally free, and we could never ever repay him. And so we try to live with as much joy as we can. Hey, before we go, we're going to pray, okay? So here we go. Put your hands up like this. Slap your hands together and fold your hands. And you know what? You can close your eyes if you want, and you can repeat after me, okay? Are you ready? Let's practice first, okay? Ice cream. Hamburger. Labor Day. Hey, all right. So now, let's pray. And we say, Dear God, thank you for sending Jesus, who lived and died and rose from the grave to give us your free gifts. Help us to live at peace. Help us to believe for Jesus' sake. Amen.
We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us whole and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey. There's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open